this is hoped to be the first part in a series. I don't know how many episode it's going to be, but it's the downfall of Star Trek. A once great science fiction epic that's just been ruined by lazy storytelling, forced politics, and a lack of understanding of what it really is. So, part one, the beginning. Star Trek was created by Gene Roddenberry and came out during the Cold War. And it during the civil rights movement and stuff was going on, and this portrayed a positive future. I mean, during the height of the civil rights movement, there was a high-ranking African American. Well, there's no more Americans, but you know what I mean. Female officer on the bridge. There were in it wasn't like nowadays where they had to virtue signal everything. It was just a thing. She's on the bridge because she's that good. Her sex and the color of her skin don't matter. And the first series often tackled sometimes complex social issues. There were great episodes like Balance of Terror, which had to do with a rogue Romulan played by Mark Leonard, who would go on to play Spock's father in the series. And it was a very tense, well done episode that at its core was basically submarine warfare. We've had the series even gave us one of cinema's greatest villains of all time in Khan Noonien Singh, who would go on, played by Ricardo Montalban, who would go on to reprise that role in The Wrath of Khan. Even technology featured in the show. Every one of you has one of these in some form or another. The inventor of the cell phone was inspired by the communicators from the original series. The militaries even began studying on the sickbay bed. And whenever the series tackled social issues, it didn't do it in a condescending way. It did it in such a way that no matter which side of the debate you landed on, it encouraged you to think and communicate. It wasn't there to be divisive. It had such a popularity that when it was canceled, a writing campaign brought it back. Unfortunately, with studio mandates, and the show suffered because of studio interference, that they made it more about a creature of the week. I mean, young teenagers and adolescents at the time even were able to grasp onto a character like Spock, who was half Vulcan, but if you don't know what Vulcans are, it's a race that rejects emotion, but he's also half human, and he represented to a lot of young adolescents about growing up in that you can still be this mature adult and have your fun too. And it even tackled issues like Nazism in a smart way that made you think, and that was the series at its best, when it made you think. Yeah, there were a lot of cheesy episodes I wouldn't rewatch again, but this was a different time. The production value wasn't very high, and it even offered some of the creature feature tales were surprisingly well done, like Devil in the Dark, which blurred the line between creature on the loose and misunderstood monster. And come to find out that creature was doing what it was doing just to protect its young. It was just very well done stuff, and it laid a great foundation for an empire of science fiction. You can argue the show ended before its time, but I don't know if that was a bad thing because the time we had between the end of the original series and the first movie, I think that drought helped make future Star Treks possible. And all the characters became cultural phenomenons. Now, this was just kind of my part one origins of Star Trek. Join me for part two when the Enterprise journeys to the big screen. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. Over and out.